Alright, my super fam, our lovely Kinich boy is going to be coming, I think, around a week time as the moment I post this video. I really like his character design, especially his companion Asia, which is like a very interesting pixel-like dinosaur, which breathes a lot of personality into the character. Now, today we have some official information regarding Kinich as well as his official banner release. So basically, I want to touch on his character a bit in this video, talking my thoughts about what I think about this character's potential, as well as discussing about the banner. Now, quick disclaimer so that I can get this out of the way is that any of the, kind of like the downside that I may be discussing about Kinich later on in the video, it's not kind of like a hate video on Kinich. You guys can take this video as basically a discussion on the potential of Kinich and some of the pros and cons that I see in his character at this point. And there are some major things I want to point out regarding those of you who are considering to pull for him. And I know some of you who have already decided to pull for Kinich is going to be comment down in the comment section saying, yeah, Tom, you can say whatever, I'm going to be pulling for Kinich anyway. Well, yeah, I understand that, but there are many of us who are still considering to see if he's a good character that is going to be worth the Primo Gems, especially when our Pyro Archon is probably going to be coming really soon, and Zillinen basically going to be a very good character. I'm not confirming in any way, but there are lots of characters coming that will be using a lot of your Primo Gems, which is why I want to make this video to help you guys make the best decision possible. Okay, well, let's get into Kinich kit. Now, basically, I'm not going to be going through every single little details about his kit, and I'm just going to sum up how he's going to be playing. Very simply, Kinich is going to be a Dendro hyper carry that is very much similar to Navia in terms of how he plays, right? He's going to be charging up his have like a Night Soul point for his E skill to get to maximum, and then he's going to be using what's called a skill Piker Cannon to deal large amount of nuke damage, just how you basically charge up Navia's shot and then you do an E skill in one go. Other than that, his burst is also quite similar to Navia's as well, because he's going to be kind of like summoning Azure and then he's going to turn into a giant dragon, raining down Dendro damage onto your enemies. And then another very important note is that his ability is unlocked his maximum potential when he is used in a burning or a version reaction team, because this will help him to charge up his Night Soul point even faster so that he gets that maximum stack for his skill Piker Cannon. Other part of his talent is that making sure your other team member is doing a Night Soul burst maximum of 2 times, he's going to get a whopping maximum of 604% attack increase to his skill Piker Cannon. So overall, we can see that basically all of his damage is focusing very much on this one shot that he's doing, where I feel it's kind of like very much a little bit similar to Mulanni in terms of she doing her one big shock bite attack after she does a bit of charging. However, here's the thing, and this is where I want to start touching on some of the major consideration towards Kinich, is that the biggest thing I'm seeing toward him is that he's pretty much going to be a single target character. Unlike, Mulanni, where she has the ability to do very decent in AoE situation, Navia has a bit of AoE here as well. At this point in time, obviously I don't have any testing on Kinich at this point yet, and while of course some of the information may change on his official release, is that I feel he's very much going to be a locked single target character. Now, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, there aren't too many characters that's very much locked behind single target in Genshin Impact at this point. While you can say some character, like Raiden or Hu Tao, some of those characters has been saying that they are single target, but they're technically not too much of a single target lock because they can perform pretty well in AoE situation. However, at this point, I feel that there's only one lock character. Is that going to be Yoimiya? And Yoimiya, being a single target lock character, has quite a lot of problems. While a lot of which I won't be going through in depth because it's not a Yoimiya video, but there is some major things that will be connected towards Kinich if he is a single target lock. Is that, well, obviously if you're up against solo bossing, then yeah, you are already in a very good situation. But if you are in AoE situation and for example you're in the late floor of the abyss when you're up against, for example, 2 very tanky enemies, either the Hydro Abyss Mage, I don't know if I'm getting her name correctly, or the Abyss Lectors where they have showed up, single target lock character tend to have a bit of a trouble with. Obviously if you're investing into him a lot and he's already delete it, then yeah, probably not going to be a problem. But it is technically a thing for lower investment, for more free to play players where they can't always invest into the specific character a lot, there can be issues at times. I know this because I myself have experienced this, which is why I'm sharing with you right now. But hopefully his skill Piker Cannon Shot will have a bit of a similar AoE like Navia, because if it does, then I think that's going to pose a little bit less of a problem, because like Navia, she also has, you know, not too much AoE, but when enemies are slightly grouped to each other, then yeah, she can still do decent AoE damage. However, I'm having quite little hope, because for a character like Navia and Mulani, they did mention in their kit that if you hit multiple enemies during this skill, the damage are actually going to be less, but there aren't any mentioning here in Kinich's skill, so you know, it might very much turn out to be a single target lock character. Now, so that's one thing. The second thing I want to touch on is going to be Kinich team building. Okay, he's a character that's very much work in a burning team. First of all, Burgeon, we're going to touch on Burgeon a little bit. For burning, we already know how bad of an elemental reaction that, right? Now, there aren't too many characters that work very well in burning at this point in time. If you remember correctly, only one character actually that benefit the most other than Kinich is going to be Emily, and Emily is going to be an absolute amazing sub DPS character for Kinich. And so usually the best team that he's going to be running is going to be a Kinich, Bennett, Shanling, and Emily team, which is quite a resource intensive team for your account, because Bennett and Shanling is a very popular character where you can technically swap Shanling out for a character like Toma, keep up the burning, or I think even Dia can work, and I think that's still fine. But the more important character is going to be Emily, because I feel that many of us actually have not pulled for Emily in, you know, the previous patch. So assuming you don't have Emily and you're planning to use a burning team for Kinich, then which other character can be on this team? The other is going to be Nahida, and I mean, yes, Nahida is okay, but Kinich doesn't scale with EM, and burning reactions isn't really a good reactions either. Plus, Nahida off-field damage isn't actually too high. I'm pretty much sure you're aware, because Nahida is pretty much a EM buffer for your account, and many of the time she's better off used elsewhere rather than a burning, right? So while definitely you can slot in any of the Dendro character, then you can call it a day. Even, you know, DMC at C6 is still a pretty nice character, because I remember she has a Dendro damage bonus for your Dendro character, but obviously missing out on an Emily does do a pretty big hit on building a Kinich team. And therefore burning is probably not going to be very much a popular team for Kinich, which leaves Burgeon. So I think a pretty popular team going with Burgeon for Kinich is most likely going to be a Kinich, Toma, Furina, and a Baiju to heal up. But while if we're going with that route, then many of the time we're not going to be specifically triggering Burgeon that much, because we know how little hydro application Furina's got. But overall, I think it will still work fine, because I feel that he will still be able to keep up the burning reactions alive on the enemies, so that he will still be able to get the damage buff. So most likely, since Toma is going to be able to work alongside with Kinich, a very nice thing is that he will surely be able to work alongside with Xingqiu and Yelan. Therefore, you should be able to mix and match quite a few Burgeon team with Kinich there. And I would definitely want to test out a lot of different, you know, potential mix and match character to see which is going to be the best Burgeon team for him. But at the end of the day, Kinich himself is not going to be focusing on very much a react base, and it's focusing everything onto his maximum damage potential, and in terms of how much he is able to deal damage for your team, which is where his upside going to be coming in. And I do feel that even though, you know, there are some downside potentials that we have just discussed, Kinich power level I think is going to be very high, because one of his nuke damage, E-skill blast, does pretty good damage. So even if later on, if he is a single target lock character, I still feel that he's going to be pretty much fine in terms of picking out one enemies pretty fast, and on top of his burst that does have a bit of AoE here and there, and maybe you're using him alongside with other sub DPS characters that have access to AoE capability, you know, like Emma or Furina or even Nahida, even then, yeah, I think those will also solve his situation. Which is why Kinich is actually a character that I'm quite looking forward to, because technically speaking, we do not have a DPS character that focus on burning or Burgeon team at this point in time. So I feel that he's going to be having, you know, a lot of potential in terms of new gameplay as well, and making characters such as Emily, who's a burning dish, to have some, more limelight shown onto her, and open up a team comp roster for you to build on your account, which is really, really nice. Now, I want to touch on Kinich banner a bit, and yeah, if you watched my prediction video before on Kinich, I think we perfectly guessed the banner this time around. It's actually Chevreuse, Sarah, and Toma, which is really nice. Now, Sarah's not a surprise because Rain Shogun's like right next to him, but Chevreuse is kind of like a character that I kind of hard guessed her. So either way, it's really nice to have Chevreuse back, because if you didn't remember, I think Chevreuse hasn't been back since 4.3, which is, yes, pretty long ago. It's really nice to have her back to open up more constellation potential for you in terms of getting her to C6, and then especially Toma. I think he is a very important character here on Kinich team, because he has to be here so that if you're planning to pull for Kinich, you have his constellation or his copy for you to actually use the Toma on the Kinich team. Otherwise, it's going to be having a bit of a trouble on both Burning or Burgeon team if you're a newer player onto the game and you don't have like Bennett or Shanling. So this is kind of like the best situation banner for you guys to actually pull, especially if you don't have any of these character constellation, because overall all three of these characters are some of the better 4-star characters we have in the game. So it's actually a very, very nice banner. Now, as far as weapon banner, I think you guys, if you're planning to go for Kinich, you're probably trying to get this weapon anyway, because this weapon is very, very good. If you're not going for his weapon, then yes, the Natlin craftable weapon is still very good. Overall, some of the best free-to-play options that we have for him. But also, if you are planning to pull on this specific weapon banner, I don't think that's actually too bad either, because if you do get the engulfing lightning, it's actually not too bad of a weapon, because well, even if you're not using it on Raiden Shogun, this is one of the best weapons that you can give to Shanling. Well, the goddess of poem weapons, right? And then other than that, the 4-star weapons are also pretty good. Sack Bow, Sack Sword, Wizard, Pavonius Poem, all very, very good 4-star options, apart from the Rain Slasher, obviously. But I don't think the Rain Slasher is too bad either, because its EM potential and the passive is still workable if you really do want to use it. So overall, Kinich banner is actually in a very good situation for those who do decide to pull for him. Overall, guys, as I have mentioned, obviously I did say that it's not kind of like a hate video on Kinich. It's just me running through my kind of thought ideas in terms of his potential and all the information I've got on Kinich at this point in time. I'll definitely try to pull for Kinich and then make an official release impression on Kinich whenever he comes. But at this point in time, those are going to be my thoughts, guys. Now, I would love to discuss more with you guys about Kinich down in the comment section. So yeah, if you have anything about Kinich, feel free to leave it down in the comment section and I will get to you there. If you're new to the channel, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to not miss out on my future Genshin Impact videos. I really appreciate you guys staying with me to this part of the video, guys. And with that, I wish you a super day and I will catch you on my next video.